So if you'll give me your attention, that would be awesome. We're going to learn about something called enhanced for loops today. So Java has another loop type. We've got our while loops, we've got our for loops, and this is called either a for each loop or an enhanced for loop. And I'll show you a regular for loop right here. We have an integer array, and here we're printing it. We do for int I equals 0, I less than nums.length, I plus plus, and we print. Down here, doing the same thing with an enhanced for loop, we have this simpler line. Notice here, it says for int x colon nums. And so what it's doing is it's grabbing the variables out of the array one at a time and just shoving them into a variable instead of giving you an index value one at a time and then letting you grab the thing out. See up here, we have I, and then we're getting the value at I equals 0, I equals 1, I equals 2. Down here, there is no I. We don't know what index we're on. We just know we're getting the values one at a time. So lots of times, if you're just going to traverse an array, like add them all up, find the average or something, even the max and min, you don't need to know the index values of the different values. If you don't need to know, and if you just want to go through, traverse an array, this is a great way to do it. It's called an enhanced for loop. And I'll show you some examples. This is that same code, just blown up. That highlighted line is the enhanced for loop. So in the declaration line, you just declare a temp variable. In this case, I called it x. It could be anything. And it's going to hold the elements of the array one at a time. Then you have a colon, and then you have the array. So again, we've got the word for, and then parentheses. But instead of all that three-part thing, we just have two parts. Temp variable, colon, and then the array. Now, I wasn't using curly braces because there's only one line inside. But if you have more than one line inside, you have to use curly braces. So here is an example of me adding up all the numbers in the array. I'm printing them and adding them up. So I added curly braces here to kind of contain the insides. Questions? If you had a string array, it works the same, except the temp variable is a string. So right here, notice it says for string C colon colors instead of int x or int n colon nums. We have string C because colors contain strings. So this means take all the entries of colors and put them in C one at a time. In this case, then we're printing them. So the only difference from the other one is the temp variable has to be a string. Is this type of for loop better? Only if you don't need to change anything in the original array, because you can't say nums at 7 equals some number, because you just got thrown the values one at a time without knowing which index they were in. So right here, look at this. I have an array with a bunch of numbers. And I have an enhanced for loop where I'm putting the numbers into x one at a time. Inside the loop, I'm adding 1 to x. I mean, this is all fine and good. It'll run, but it doesn't change what's stored in the array because we're just changing that temp variable, and then we're replacing it with the next number. And then we're changing the temp variable, replacing it with... So this would be silly. Yes? Not returning a copy, but putting a copy. Yeah, it's just making a copy of each value. It's not a copy of the index number. We don't know the index number. That's the key point. But if you don't need to know the index number, you just want to go through the whole array, it's awesome. If you wanted to go change everything in an array, like make them all uppercase or add 1 to each one, you can't use an enhanced for them. So here's a regular for loop where I am changing all the values. I'm doing it by index value. I equals 0, I less than nums.length, and then we're doing nums at I plus plus. And so that's literally changing the array elements, making each one bigger by 1. Whereas the other one is not doing that. So what did we just learn? For each loops are also called enhanced for loops, and they're another way to process all the values in an array. Here's two examples: int n colon nums, frog f colon pond. It could be anything. Okay, so now we have a shorter, quick practice, and then after that we have a longer practice. Let's do it. Let's do the shorter, quick practice. First, before I got all deep into it, I wanted to do a quick one.